Wait, up, it's down, wait, well, yeah, one carry, born, when she had will, did, well, and she been, it was decent, man, for walking distance. People get people who overcard about that one, two, it's better. Okay, care. To his Bella button, air case the button.